Hey guys, here. So today I want to give my review on Madden 21 Face of the Franchise. I was able to watch through it all the way to the NFL. QJB's channel, link in the description. Go check him out. If you want to see the whole thing, it's a couple hours long. I know Anto is also doing some stuff there, so you can check out his channel for the stuff too. But we're going to use QJB, and I'm going to kind of review this and go over my thoughts on what we're seeing. So Madden 21 Face of the Franchise. I do like it that it is customizable. You know, in the past we were kind of locked into certain players. So it is kind of cool that you're designing players, you know, hairstyle, hair color, beard color, eye color, that kind of stuff. But overall, is this awesome? I will say it's okay. My biggest issue with these things have always been it's kind of short. And I'm going to say there are going to be spoilers throughout this. So if you want to see the storyline, you kind of want to play it for yourself. This review is going to go through some spoilers and, you know, it might make you a little shaky. I'm not going to go through it, I'm not going to try to spoil it all, but there will be some near the start and kind of my thoughts on it. And this is kind of important this year because playing Face of the Franchise Rise to Fame will unlock you some abilities, right? We grant you, this is in the Yard. So the Yard is their big new mode this year. We grant you a few abilities to start, but you unlock more by leveling up the prototypes in your battle or playing Face of the Franchise Rise to Fame. So Face of the Franchise Rise to Fame directly ties into something that I care about, which will be the Yard, right? I think the Yard is going to be very good, but of course I don't have my hands on it. I haven't played it yet. So Face of the Franchise, episode 1. Let's go through our thoughts. And there'll be some Madden 21 gameplay here. So it's nice. It starts you off as an older person, and you go back to your old high school, you put in, what the name of it, what state it's in, and you kind of go through and choose. You can choose then the mascot of your high school, so it puts it up here. Kind of nice little detail. Like, there's some nice details here, and there's some things that they've kind of overlooked that's a little bit more disappointing. They go back to the trophy case, you're a legend, and they kind of tell the story right here. And you choose your voices. Obviously, there's a lot of decisions here that are kind of cool. I like how the decision trees are tied into a lot of like how you are. Later on, you'll see your decision trees based off, what abilities you can get. Whether you like to get away from the pass rush, you'd be a scrambling archetype, or get escape artist as your ability. You choose your X factor and through these interviews. So it's tied in really well like that through the storyline. But let's go back to when they first meet. I think my biggest disappointment is kind of, it's a lot like the storyline of Long Shot 1, where a quarterback's ahead of you, but Long Shot 1 was in college, this one's in high school, and it kind of like you're QB2, but you got to try to be QB1. So it's like, there's a lot of other storylines in the world in football, right? You don't have to rehash the same one again. But the thing is, like, they make this guy unlikable as hell. So it becomes super easy to stab him in the back and take his job, right? You couldn't have made him like super likable and be like, oh wow, this is actually a decision. The issue is also with these decisions, they're not actually decisions. Because later on, when you discover the twist, and they've teased this, like, are you going to betray him or not? This is like, I think this might not be the betrayal scene, but the betrayal scene will be coming out. This is like an interview, right? Some of your interviews that you kind of talk about what kind of style of player you are, like I talked about with the choices. A little bit later on, right here is the betrayal scene. I'm not going to go through it, but it doesn't matter what you choose. That's the biggest frustration. Because in the end, you get to go into the game anyways. You accept the challenge right there, or QBJ did. Got his helmet. Now, a lot of this, let's go through the gameplay here, right? And in this Face of the Franchise, so you're one player, but it still gives you the defensive side of the ball. I'm not a fan of that. I wish it would actually do that, allow you to decide, hey, I only want to play this one player, so I don't play defense. That way the game can keep the games artificially close. If you're scoring a lot, it can make the other side. So let's watch a little bit of the gameplay right away. I will say I watched a little bit in one of the later episodes. He had a cover 3 beater. It was just a comeback and a post pattern. So cover 3 beaters, just like we saw during the beta, pretty easy this year. Here he is throwing it up. This is like one of those minor details that I hate about the series. You see how there's a downfield penalty in high school football? So in high school football, to my knowledge, it is just like college football, and it's a 15-yard penalty. They play it like the pros, where it was a spot foul. So that's like one of those minor things you're like, ooh, that's a football detail they really shouldn't have got wrong. Also, another detail is like, these guys look like professional fucking athletes, right? High school football, I mean, if it's at a powerhouse, yeah, maybe they'll get like more like well-trained players, and maybe this is a powerhouse because, they win state championships or whatever. But like okay, offensive lineman. Like, one of these dudes will be fucking huge, right? There's always that one fucking dude in high school that's ginormous, and the rest of them are just, like, regular looking schlubs. Like, not always, but a lot of high schools are just like that. One huge dude, maybe a couple huge dudes, but then like the rest of them are like, just high school players. And also like these receivers are like 6'2" fucking freaks in nature, all already professional athletes. Now this is frustrating, right? This is high school football, so I can see why this zone plays so bad. But what's going to be frustrating about 21 is this is how the zone's going to play with the rollout. Rollout, remember, for those who play Madden 20, roll out corners, roll out crossers. This guy doesn't squeeze it. He doesn't play anyone near it. He decides not to do anything. Now, it makes sense in high school football, but this is exactly how Madden 21 is going to play, even with professional players out there. So, roll out, throw it to the corner, and it's caught. Now, he could have been in a purple zone, so he didn't hug the sideline as much as like a cloud flat, but it is frustrating that that guy didn't recognize anyone attacking his side of the field or do anything about that. Four verts to a screen. Screens are actually pretty good in 21, I remember. And this is like, he's playing defense, landing hit sticks. Very cool, the hit stick, but like, yeah, I wish there was an option to not play defense at least in the game instead of doing that. So there's some gameplay here, some more cut scenes where they talk about, oh, you did a good job, they're going to recruit him going forward. So overall, my thoughts like on the high school stuff, it is neat. It is kind of cool how they tie a lot of this stuff in. The cut scenes are nice. I'm not going to go through them all. But face of the franchise, and you meet Snoop Dogg randomly. He's rooting for he's got this other team stuff on, but he says, "Hey, I've been watching you a while. I'm really rooting for you." It's like, I don't know, kind of weird. I like Snoop Dogg himself, the person. I love that he loves Madden like us. But it's just kind of like a thrown in appearance, and it feels weird, I guess. So you can introduce the guy. So it ends up a position switch, and there'll be position switches through the game. I think position switches are handled okay. It's kind of, it is what it is. Overall, after looking through it all, I don't want to like spoil too much of, episode 2, where you go to National Signing Day, you pick out your college. I love that they're getting more. I think there's like, I think maybe like a couple more colleges this year than last year. But man, it'd be kind of cool if they just like had licenses with every single college and they snuck in an NCAA game under their nose. And they allowed us to get their uniforms maybe in mutt and stuff. So yeah, you do what you do. There's some position changes, some plot holes or some plot developments like that. The defensive coordinator takes over and is a real rough and tumble guy. But going through, there isn't anything that I want to point out more in this review of the game mode that I haven't said already. Madden 21 still plays like Madden 21. Like, this is what I'm talking about with some of the press conferences to decide your abilities. So overall, it's good, but there are some, minor details. My biggest thing is like they waste so much time. This takes a long time to do, right, for EA staff. But really, we play this. If we add up the amount of time it takes us to go from high school, 30 minutes, college, 15 minutes, 24 minutes. Under 2 hours of content, and it takes up a large amount of staff resources for EA. And so you do have the scouting combine, you can do all that stuff. So you'll get to the pros eventually, obviously, because of the opening scene. You're telling your story about how much of a legend you are. But I'm not going to reveal too much more on that. Overall, it's okay. It's just so short. It's not really a video game. It's like a video game within a video game, which is fine that it's short because it's not like Ghost of Tsushima or Last of Us 2, like 50-hour long epics, which is fine, right? A short, good experience is, I think, important in gaming, but I just don't think this is that important to the Madden franchise. I'm more interested in the actual football part, but there are some people that love the storyline. So in my opinion, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 because it's just not my kind of thing. And that's my opinion. I'm more of like the dedicated, football nerd on the field, build the teams, that kind of stuff. Franchise mode definitely took a back seat to this. Like if we could take all those staff resources that were put into this and put it into franchise mode, with the hashtag #FixMadden franchise mode would provide so many more hours of depth and content that I think we'd enjoy this series a lot more. So this, in my opinion, it's not bad of itself. Like, they didn't do a bad job. I just don't think it was worth quite what it's delivering versus what it could be delivered in a Madden package. If you see what I'm saying. I think I said that incorrectly, but I hope you get that. So overall, 6 out of 10. Solid job, but not good enough for me. What do you guys think? Are you guys going to play it? Are you guys going to do it just to build up your yard character, which I think is way more interesting? Let me know. Fixed Man franchise. See you tomorrow.